Dr. Rod Hall, state veterinarian, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Happy to be here, and thank you all for having me.
So, Doctor, let's get right into this. This EHV-1 issue popped up on all of our radar really quickly over the last couple of days. Tell me what your role is in the state of Oklahoma, and from your perspective, what should folks know right now?
Well, we're working with the event, the barrel racing futurity event at the Lazy E Arena. We just became aware of this yesterday afternoon and started communicating with them. And during that time, we were made aware of a couple of horses that were at the event that started showing some neurologic signs. So they were transported to our veterinary teaching hospital at Oklahoma State University, where they were hospitalized and tested. And our lab up there at the university worked, into the night to get us results by about 9 o'clock last night, and did confirm that we did have those two horses were positive for equine herpes virus. So consulted with the event manager and the venue management, and ultimately the event decided that the best thing to do to try to protect the horses was to cancel the event. We really didn't have a place there at the event where we had room to quarantine or isolate. It just wasn't practical. So after consulting with some other folks that have dealt with these type issues before, we decided the best thing was to go ahead and ask the participants to go home and isolate their horses at home, away from any other horses, and just begin monitoring them for any signs of the disease. We felt like the best thing was to, rather than keeping everything bunched together there in the grounds and potentially spread virus a lot more, we thought it was better to go ahead and get them out of there and get them home.
Dr. Hall, this is obviously affecting a few states, not only Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas, maybe even a couple others neighboring away. This story continues to develop. And of course, we're all trying to do our best, not only to inform people on what they should and shouldn't do, but to give them kind of the advice. And that's what you guys are doing, obviously, from the state level. But with that being said, Dr. Hall, I'll ask you this. What is the state of Oklahoma outside of, say, talking with the folks at the BFA and the Barrel Fraternities of America to cancel that event? That was the best interest. What else is going on in your state of Oklahoma to try to get ahead of this?
Well, as I said, we are just working with the contestants that were at this event, and also ones that were at the event in Waco that did not come to our event in Oklahoma. We're working with them to kind of keep track of their horses, asking them to notify us if they have any symptoms of disease. We're also talking to a lot of the other equine folks that have events coming up and trying to help them make their best decision on whether to go ahead with their event, what the risk is to them. Obviously, there's different types of events and different classes of horses. So some have much less risk than others. So we're just trying to help our industry folks in Oklahoma make the best decisions they can to keep their equine athletes safe, but at the same time maintain continuity of business if we think it's possible at all.
Doctor, Oklahoma is a big equestrian state. Obviously, Texas is a big horse state. Your the state to the north of you, Kansas, big into the horse industry. How much coordination is going on between you and your counterparts in other states around the country?
And like I say, we're so early in this that we're still kind of pulling things together. But we did earlier today, we had a meeting with all of the state veterinarians and many of their staff to just make all of our counterparts in other states aware of what was going on here, locally and regionally. We got a lot of questions from them because obviously a lot of them had horses that were at these two events. And we just answered their questions and tried to help them understand the steps that we were taking. We are Texas got a little bit of a head start on us, knowing about their event. So they are already sending out lists to the states of horses and contestants at that event in Waco. We are beginning to do the same thing here. I'd say we've had great cooperation between both the Lazy E Arena and the barrel race futurity folks, and they worked hard to get us a list of all the contestants and where they came from as soon as possible. And my staff is now going through that and sorting that out, and we're beginning to get list of contestants to the different states. There were 28 states that sent horses to our event here in Oklahoma, as well as 4 Canadian provinces, and one, I don't know if this horse was from Brazil or the owner's from Brazil, but we had one address in Brazil that had a horse here.
Dr. Hall, as this continues to develop, I know it's very early on, that we're just now kind of finding out a lot of this news here over the last day or two, and it's going to continue to develop the rest of this week through the weekend and into next week. But for now, what do you feel like, what can we tell folks at home? And I guess this is kind of a two-part question, because I was going to hit you with this as well. When folks have events planned, the last thing you want to do is cancel something. That's hard on everybody. But do you agree that as of right now, the news that we know for now, it's probably the best thing for some of these events to get canceled, say this upcoming weekend, because that is the best thing, right? For folks to stay home and almost kind of quarantine their horses themselves. Am I right in saying that?
No, I think you're correct, especially horses that are barrel race events, or even some of the roping events. I understand that there was a breakaway event at that same venue that the barrel race in Waco had. So any events that would cross over from those types of horses, I think are at increased risk. So it's hard for me to tell someone to cancel, but if they're in a high risk category, I think it is best for the contestants and the horses, and we just need to try to do the right thing. Everyone wants to continue, and we're aware of how hard it is to cancel these events, and the way it impacts the event itself, the management and the participants. But we just have to do the right thing and protect the horses is the number one responsibility we have.
Doctor, final question before we let you go, and thank you so much, sir, for your time. We genuinely appreciate it. You made the comment about people from 28 states and 4 Canadian provinces that were at the Barrel Futurities of America event. People from all over the country were in Waco at the WPRA event. This may not be an answerable question. How do you work alongside your counterparts? How do we keep this contained? What is next, I guess, on your radar as you try to deal with the potential fallout from this?
Just educating the participants and the contestants who had horses here, and the social media of these events has done a great job of pushing that message out, and we're sending information out to the contestants as we get their contact information. But the main thing is just educating people, making sure that they understand the importance of isolating any horse that has been exposed to a horse that was at one of these events, and monitoring their temperatures and reporting any illness that comes up for the next couple of weeks, or in some cases maybe even 21 days. That's how we can stop it, is stop moving those horses around.
Dr. Rod Hall, thank you so much for your time. Great information that you shared with us here at the Cowboy Channel and our viewers, and with you at the state veterinarian there in Oklahoma. We appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us today on the show.
Thank you all. You're welcome.
Well, folks, we're going to continue to do our best to continue this coverage here on the Cowboy Channel. In fact, we invite you to stay tuned with us. We'll have more on Western Sports Roundup coming up a little later on in the show. But lots of some, I shouldn't say lots yet. That's probably a pretty broad word. Some cancellations being reported, and we will continue to give those as we know as they come about. As we continue here on the show on Western Sports Roundup, Stetson Jorgensen, PRCA steer wrestler, he's headed back to the National Finals Rodeo. But he's going to do it on a different horse than what we've seen him before. That'll be coming up later.
And we will take you to the Indian National Finals Rodeo. Megan Lunek, this year's breakaway roping champion, but there's a big-time story behind the scenes on her journey to that title. She will join us and tell us about it. That's all coming up on Western Sports Roundup.
Western Sports Roundup brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of cowboys everywhere. We live it every day.